Chicago on St. Patrick's Day is like nowhere else in the United States. The city goes all out, turning the river green, throwing one of the biggest parades in the country, and celebrating in some of the best Irish pubs you'll find outside of Ireland. Today I'm taking you along for a full day of St. Patrick's Day celebrations in Chicago. Are you ready? Let's jump in. I flew in the night before, grabbed a hotel in downtown, and we started the day with St. Patrick's Day themed donuts at a Chicago staple, Stan's. There was even a donut named after the Green River, and Stan's is always a stop for me whenever I'm in Chicago, as the donuts and coffee are great here. From there, we followed the crowds and headed up Michigan Avenue towards the Chicago River where the river dyeing would take place.
So this is what everybody comes out for. The river is lined and it is only 9:15 right now, so it's about 45 minutes before the actual dyeing happens. So if you want to get here and actually see this along the river, you probably need to get here at 8:30, 8:45. But we are doing it in style today. We're heading down to get on a boat and actually cruise it while they're dyeing the river.
During the river dyeing, the Riverwalk itself is actually closed down, so you can only access it if you have tickets on one of the boats. There are lots of boats that go out and do this, but be sure to get your tickets in advance, as all of them were sold out except for one when I looked about a month and a half in advance. While we were waiting to board, we got to listen to a bagpipe player, which was an early highlight, and see boats cruising out on the river to start the dyeing.
Bait on the boat, about to head out.
Note that this ticket cost around $150 when I went, and it included 2 drinks, a corned beef sandwich with a bag of chips, being able to watch the river dyeing right from the boat, and then a 1-hour cruise.
As you can see, they've completely shut that bridge down for pedestrians up at the top.
After they shut down the bridge, the festivities were able to commence, and what I didn't realize is that we actually just sat on the boat and watched the entire dyeing process, and then once it was done, we were able to go on our cruise. I was a little bit surprised by this, but it ended up being an amazing experience as we got to see the dyeing up close and they came around our boats multiple times. Since 1962, Chicago has been dyeing its river green using a top secret, eco-friendly dye. It only lasts for about 24 to 48 hours, so if you're here, then you're witnessing history in the making, a unique bucket list item to experience in the United States every year. The event is put on by the Chicago Journeyman Plumbers Union, and it brings out tens of thousands of people. It only takes about 45 minutes for them to spray all of the dye into the water and for it to turn the fluorescent green that you've come to expect from Chicago. Even though our boat wasn't actually moving during this time, we really did get an up-close experience of seeing the dyeing process take place. It's pretty crazy to watch it go into the water and swirl around and start dyeing the river green.
The river is officially green. So we haven't left yet. We have to wait for it to be fully dyed, and then we're gonna go out for about 45 minutes and cruise around.
Once they finished their last passes and continued down the river, we were given the go-ahead and we were able to start our cruise. I can't even tell you how unique of an experience this was, and I'm so glad I got to witness it the way that I did. I was told by multiple locals that this was an amazing year for it as well because the sun had come out and it was actually 65 degrees. They had told me that the last 3 to 4 years had been freezing cold, and they were even on the boat the previous year and weren't even able to go outside very much because of how cold it was. Anytime you cruise the Chicago River, it's amazing because of all the unique architecture that lines the water. But what was so fun about this, outside of the green water, were all the people that were lining the bridges and lining the water and just waving and yelling and having a great time. When the sun hits the water, it's surprising how vibrant the green is. But the thing I guess I should have realized that I didn't is that it's actually only green in one small section of the river. Basically, once you turn and go under Lake Street, the green completely disappears and it's back to the normal color of the Chicago River. I figured this would be a good time to explore the rest of the boat, so I went inside where they had chairs and tables set up, and then I went up and got a green beer to enjoy. There were still more people lining the water and bridges down here, but I'm not sure why they were down here as it wasn't actually green in this section.
We're cruising so far, there's not even green in the river. It's basically just at the front, and we're gonna turn around and head back.
On the way back, everyone was finishing their sandwiches and their free drink coupons, so I went to the front of the boat and I got this awesome time lapse of us getting back into the green portion of the river. It was so cool to have the sun out as it went away in the second half of the day, and it really did make the green light up a lot more. Our boat captain got back a little early, so he spent the last 15 minutes going all the way out towards where the entrance to the lake is. This was cool, but it was a little anticlimactic as the green water was totally gone as we got close. We did get to see Navy Pier with the Ferris wheel though, and a great view of the Chicago skyline before heading back and docking the boat.
Saying goodbye to the boat, that was a really cool experience. I don't know what that's about, but that would be a really cool way to get out on the water next year, to go out on a kayak.
I assumed the Riverwalk would be open later in the day, but it actually never opened today, so it was cool to be able to walk a little bit along the Riverwalk before we had to head out.
That was a cool experience. I didn't know we were only going to be out on the water for about an hour, but that was as much as we needed because there's only green in this one section. Now I'm going to head to the parade and see if I can actually find a spot. I'm pretty late, so fingers crossed.
If you do the boat and then the parade next year, I highly recommend you know where you're going, as I got lost multiple times since there was only one entrance that allowed you to get to the parade. Even the police and people I talked to seemed to be confused about how to get there, so I spent a good amount of time just wandering around.
This is chaos. There's so many people down here, but they pointed me this direction for the parade, so that's where we're headed.
I feel like this should be a given, but don't drive down here. These people haven't moved at all.
After walking past the art museum and down towards where I was told was the only entrance, I finally was able to find my way into the parade area. Also, can anybody tell me why all the young kids were carrying around milk jugs filled with some type of liquid? I mean, I'm guessing it was alcohol, but it seemed like everybody had a different one, almost like a make your own kind of cocktail and carry it around with you.
All right, so I made it into the parade, but I don't know if there's going to be any way to see the parade. I mean, look at all these people here.
Luckily, I walked down a little bit and was able to find a spot where I could sit about 5 rows back and get some shots of the parade.
Chaos.
A few notes about the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Chicago. It's one of the biggest St. Patrick's Day parades in the United States, but the one in New York is bigger. It's basically a parade of Irish pride with everything from kilts and bagpipes to flags. I found it to have a really fun energy with lots of families, locals, and tourists all just celebrating wearing their green and cheering for the people walking by. I also read online that supposedly the first St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago was held in 1843 before the city was even incorporated.
All right, I hung out for about 45 minutes. That was more than enough for me. It is chaos down here. Lots of energy though, people having a blast. I'm gonna go head back to the hotel, put some stuff away, and then head back out to explore some Irish pubs.
This is cool. They put a Route 66 sign in since the last time I was here. Before it was just that spot right over there, but now they have this spot. Check out the Route 66 video up here. Huge win is staying at this hotel, which is right here next to everything, so I can get away from the chaos easily. And actually go sit on the terrace, have lunch.
This isn't sponsored or anything, but I really liked the CitizenM hotel in downtown Chicago. It was a great jumping off point for all of the St. Patrick's Day attractions, and the terrace was really cool looking down and people watching.
That is where the river is green, right there on the bridge. So you can see that's why there's so many people down there.
I was planning to go north of this city to go to one of the top Irish bars in the world, but with all the people out there, I'm not even going to remotely try that since like 45 minutes north. I'm just gonna edit right now in my room, which is, if you're seeing this on the 16th, it means I was successful. And then I'm gonna head back out and explore the Riverwalk later tonight.
2 hours later.
I'm heading back down again with the goal being of trying to get to a rooftop bar.
I had been asking any local that I could talk to what the best spot was for viewing the river from up high. I was told 2 places, 1 the Terrace and Trump Towers, and 2 the LondonHouse, but most everyone said the LondonHouse was the best. So I decided to head over there, and I agreed with a 45-minute line, but I had nothing else to do, so I decided to wait. When I arrived to the 21st floor, I'm surely glad that I waited. It felt like I had been whisked away to a magical leprechaun wonderland, with gold coins hanging from the ceiling, a rainbow going to a pot of gold above the bar, and of course the iconic rooftop bar. The LondonHouse is known as one of the best views in Chicago with its panoramic views over the Chicago River and skyline. It's perfect for St. Patrick's Day as it's a prime spot to view the Green River being dyed from above, but it does have a hefty price tag to get a ticket for that. It's also a historic building that was originally built in 1923, and basically everything about it was just cool. The party was definitely raging up here, and you could see why there was a 45-minute wait.
I'm not cool enough to be up here.
I spent about 30 minutes up here just taking in the views before pulling myself away, and I have to say, if you're in town for St. Patrick's Day, this is a spot you must go to. Go early though, the line was even longer when I came back down.
So that's where I was just at, right up there, and now I am down here near the Riverwalk.
You're probably sick of the Green River by now, but I have to say, this was so cool for me and a bucket list item. I've traveled all over the world for St. Patrick's Day, and one of the places I've always wanted to go to was Chicago. Being able to see the Green River in all its glory, and believe me, it looks even more vibrant in person, is something that I will never forget. For my second to last stop of the trip, I didn't get to the Irish bar that I was hoping to get to, so I settled for the Emerald Loop Bar and Grill. This ended up being a fantastic spot though, as the vibes here were strong, with amazing interior decor and people just having a fantastic time. I had originally wanted to eat here, but it was too chaotic, so I settled for a green beer and listening to Don't Stop Believing with everyone singing at the top of their lungs. I mean, it's not an Irish song, but I'll take it. It was a fun way to have some camaraderie.
I definitely would have stayed a lot longer if I had people with me, but I just had a drink and I'm going to my last spot, Chicago.
I mean, it has nothing to do with St. Patrick's Day, but did you really visit Chicago if you didn't stop in Millennium Park and see the Bean?
Last time I was here, this was closed, so it's cool to see it open again.
It's officially named Cloud Gate, but I've never heard anyone call it that. I mean, I can see why they call it the Bean. Its curved and reflective shape kind of resembles a giant coffee bean. It was designed in 2004, and since then it's become an iconic stop in Chicago that people love taking photos at. I recommend going in the early morning or late evening for fewer crowds, but it's fun to see any time of the day. Plus, it's basically the perfect way to end a fun St. Patrick's Day in Chicago.
And with that, our time in Chicago is done. Hopefully you enjoyed exploring St. Patrick's Day here as much as I did. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will see you on the next one.